Today is Monday, the 15th of April 2019, and it's a brand new week, and we bring you a new edition of the program Summit. I am Jumoke Michaels. Good to have you join us again today. And Banji is right here. Banji, how was your weekend?
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jumoke. How was yours too?
It was good.
For me, the weekend was a very busy one. I was actually involved in a workshop, and the workshop was about capacity building in the areas of media. You see, for our business, for our profession, you cannot overemphasize the need to constantly update yourself, getting more knowledge, getting to know the way it's done now as against what the way it was done in the past. Jumoke, do you know, if you say welcome, I will not answer you. The right way to is welcome. These are the things I learned. I know you've gone through it before.
Oh, yes, I have.
Judge. Many of these things, and at the workshop organized by MBA, National Broadcast Academy, they actually marked down several presenters, newscasters on the airwaves, saying that they were not doing it the right way.
Yes.
So for me, it was an opportunity to get to know the way it should be done. I may not have gotten it completely right, but it has moved me up, and I'm recommending it to all practitioners to go for an upgraded skills in presentation, production, and other areas of the media. Jumoke has welcomed you already. It's a fresh edition of the program, and I'm glad to be here. Jumoke, what's trending?
Well, it's the issue of allegations that the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, is not a bona fide Nigerian, you know, and then have you heard the counter? Bona fide.
Bona fide.
Yeah, it's not. It's the You see, that's another word that media practitioners are not getting right. It's not bona fide. It's a bona fide. Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
You know, so someone has learned something new.
I've learned something.
All right, you know. So do you know that there's also a counter allegation now that even President Buhari is not a Nigerian?
So the question is,
what are we actually driving at, and what are we
the two leading presidential candidates
from these? Yes,
that's aftermath 2019
elections.
Yeah, presidential elections. The two leading candidates, that's the candidates of APC and that of PDP, are in somewhere in a quagmire.
Yes,
whether they are Nigerian or not. So the issue is, who actually qualifies to be a Nigerian? Are you a Nigerian, or you are just stay here?
We all need to begin
to the one.
We all need to begin to dig at our roots.
I need to go back to my roots and actually find out where my parents migrated from, whether they were actually Nigerians as at particulars, maybe at independence or during the convention a year after. So we need to. These are the issues that we actually need to. So it's not just about Atiku. It's about all of us.
All of us, yes. We really need to know, you know, where to know where we really belong. You know, because when these allegations begin to come, you know, it makes one think inwards.
Yes.
You want to know, you want to really be able to define your nationality. You know, so that's what we'll be discussing this morning. So these issues actually give birth to conversations. You know, it makes us talk about things, it makes us look back, and then measure it up with where we are today.
Yeah, Jumoke,
so
you're right.
Have
because,
a good definition of what is really
you're certainly
on point.
Yes, all right, in the sense that if Atiku had not contested to be number one citizen of this country, maybe some of these issues may not have come to the fore.
Yeah.
He has been vice president for 8 years.
Yes.
He's actually served. He served earlier. He had served in Nigerian customs. And these issues never came to the fore. So you and I may have thinking.
Is it just a game, part of playing dirty, you know, want to smear someone and then bring them down, you know? So,
or are there real issues that we really need to take home from this development?
Also, so that's one of the most trending issues now, and that's what we'll be looking at on the program this morning. So please stay with us. We'll be back shortly after this break for the discussion. All right, you're welcome back. It's still Summit. And today on the program, we'll be examining allegations against Atiku, like we've already chatted about it at the start of the program. And joining us for this discussion, we have Mr. Ademola Adegoke, a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to the program.
Morning, Jumoke.
Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Banji, and viewers at home.
It's actually our pleasure. Mr. Adegoke is not a stranger to Summit. He's actually been here a couple of times. The focus is citizenship. And we are actually to lay it bare to make it clear to our viewer. Let's start from the very scratch. The very scratch is, one, are you a Nigerian?
Well, I have every cause to believe so. And let me say this, that while others...
Yes or no?
I am a Nigerian, but I think one needs some explanation. And my explanation is this. While others may fret, about, whether they are Nigerians or not, I think people from my own part of the country, from the hinterland, Ekiti Homestead, where we do not have any, landlocked place, where you don't have any, you are not a border, state, or so. I don't think there is any doubt about my being in Nigeria. I'm a bona fide Ekiti man, so I do not, and I believe that my grandparents, my parents, they lived and died in Ekiti. So I have every
your roots.
I know my
roots. Your family
history. I know too well.
But did you also find out whether they migrated from somewhere, and as at the time, as at 1960, whether they were actually Ekiti people, whether they were indigenous Ekiti?
Well, the Ekiti was never, but maybe we can get a bit serious about this now.
Okay.
You see, why is this argument about the presidential candidate of PDP?
No, we're actually getting somewhere.
That's what I said. So, I said that for someone coming from my own part of the country, that has always been part of the protectorate of southern Nigeria, ab initio, I do not have any doubt about my being a Nigerian. You see, but the people may not know, that this argument has, a historical background. And the historical background to it is that the part of Nigeria that is today known as Adamawa used to be first and foremost a German colony. It used to be a German colony. And after the Second World War, and the Allied forces defeated the Germans, all German territories in Africa were divided among the victorious Allied forces. And so the part that is today English-speaking part of Cameroon, and a little part of Nigeria, which Adamawa falls under, fell under the British rule, colonial rule. So, but at a time they were so then it was the protectorate of southern Nigeria, even like the part you have in Bakassi now, that's some part of that's why even if you look at if you look at the first political party, the National Congress of Nigeria and Cameroons, you understand, that was the party headed by Abat Macaulay. It was after Cameroon went, after the part that decided to go and merge with Cameroon went, that it now become National Congress of Nigerian Citizens. So we are laying all this NCNC. We are laying all this historical background. So in 1961, a plebiscite was conducted, for the people of the British Cameroon to decide where they wanted to belong to. You understand? And that plebiscite was held on the 11th of February, 1961. And then the northern part of Cameroon, which Adamawa falls under, decided, to be part of Nigeria. And then the southern part, decided to merge with Cameroon. And that is why up to today, Cameroon is a bilingual country. You have the French-speaking side and you have the English-speaking side of Cameroon. If you've been following, the trend, even in Cameroon lately, you will have seen that there has been an agitation by that side, by the English-speaking side of Cameroon, that they want to succeed. They want to be an autonomous, an independent country of their own, that they are not getting fair treatment from the larger French-speaking dominated Cameroon. So the historical background is that it was in 1961 that the Adamawa part of Nigeria, that where Atiku comes from, decided to be part of Nigeria. And the current constitution defines who a Nigerian citizen is, from section 25 to 32. From section 25 to 32, you have the different categories of who a Nigerian is. And in section 25, it was well stated that a Nigerian is that person who, if he was born before 1960, has his grandparents and parents as Nigerians. If he was born after 1960, is a person who has his parents, either of his parents, as Nigerians. So I think, for me, this whole argument, there are two sides to it for me. One, it tells me about the undying penchant of Nigerian politicians, to stir up, polemics.
Before we actually get to that, Mr. Debo, before I actually get to that, the allegation actually emanated from All Progressives Congress.
Yes.
And you may be tempted to say it's purely political. But even your analysis of who a Nigerian is, can you take us further? How does that actually affect people from that region?
Let me just land. Okay, I know where you are going. And I have said that, okay, maybe I should start from the other.
Okay, because I need to state this. Because the PDP presidential candidate has repeatedly told anybody that cares to listen that his grandparents actually migrated from Sokoto to the present Adamawa. So if they actually migrated, how does that the allegation actually affect him?
You see, I have said, I was going to say something. There are two sides to this argument. Two sides, if you want to look at it fairly. You understand? One is, for me, there is that penchant, there is that penchant, of Nigerian politicians to stir up, controversies, make wide allegations against the opponent, whether it has substance or not. You will now be debating it. But if you want to look at, even from the historical foundation that we have tried to lay here, and even the constitutional provision for who a Nigerian is.
What are those categories?
One, if you were born born before 1960, you must have, your grandparents and your parents as Nigerians, who are who are members of any local Nigerian community. That's the way the Constitution, put it. So, in this sense, all that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar needs to prove is that, like we have said, that is even though he was born in Jada, in the present Adamawa state, his grandparents migrated from Sokoto to Jada, and it was, and his own father was given birth to in Jada. But the fact of the matter is that his grandparents, if that can be proven, they migrated from Sokoto. So his grandparents were from a local Nigerian community prior to independence. But you see, let me say this. I must say this. I just must say this. I see this, I said the flip side of it is that when Nigerian politicians, they are always, they have this penchant for, to stir up, for stirring up controversies and polemics, so, sometimes. But then, it also tells us now, it's good things like this, are coming up. It also tells us about the imperfection of our constitution. And I must also say that this is not the first time an issue like this is coming up. Older Nigerians, we remember the case of Abdurrahman Shugaba Daman of Borno State. Nigerians woke up on the 24th of January 1980, to read about the news of the extradition or the deportation of Alhaji Abdurrahman Daman Shugaba, who was the majority leader in the Borno State House of Assembly, on the ground that he was not a Nigerian. The extradition order was signed by the Minister of Interior then, Maitama Sule, and he was deported. Well, the case was taken to court, and it went through all the old gamut of the litigation process up to Supreme Court, and at the end of the day, it was decided that Alhaji Shugaba, was a bona fide Nigerian. So it's not the first time, but
it's not the first time. But in this particular case, as at 1960, we need to actually establish whether the presidential candidate of PDP, whether his parents were actually Nigerians or the English-speaking part of Cameroon. Because by convention, they became Nigeria in 1961. Yeah. So has the point been proven? Yes, the APC is saying that, yes, though a Nigerian is a Nigerian, there's no controversy about the citizenship. But his aspiration to contest for number one position of the land, the constitution stipulates that anyone who is not 100% Nigerian at birth cannot aspire to that position. So that's the issue.
And that's why I've said that. You see, our constitution has, provided a leeway for this kind of arguments, for this kind of controversy, and that's why I've said that probably we need to revisit that constitution. You understand? Because what that means is that you are shutting out a whole patch of the country. You understand? They've been Nigerians since 1961. They became Nigerians, full-fledged Nigerian, on the 1st of June 1961 after the plebiscite, because the plebiscite was held in February, but they became Nigerian on 1st June 1961. And then the English-speaking part of Cameroon also became Cameroonians on 1st October 1961. So when people that have been part of a country, for how many years now?
This is year 2019.
Almost 60 years, and you are now still saying that they cannot aspire to the highest office in the land. For me, I don't think it's. Talking fairness now. I'm not talking politics. I'm not a politician. You understand? So, and I'm not holding brief for anybody. But then, like I've said, let us just look at it. You see, I will still say it, that the average Nigerian politician's propensity, to stir up, to come out with, I would call it polemics,
Okay, will you regard this allegation now as a straw-clutching desperation on the part of the APC?
It does appear so for me. It does appear so for me on the part of APC, because the allegation, this is coming from Atiku's petition against the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari, and well, APC is not alone in this. We have to say this. APC is not alone in this. You understand? If you call it, straw clutching, APC is not alone in straw clutching. There have been cases of, even on the part of PDP, don't forget that even on the part of PDP too, one of the issues raised is the issue of Muhammadu Buhari's certificate. Even when WAEC has, confirmed that he actually started. So I'm still harping on that Nigerian politicians, inclination to be able to want to, stir up controversies, come up with arguments that the opponent will just have to be battling with. You understand? Because if you talk of, let's digress a little and look at the other side of, or let's look at PDP's argument too against Muhammadu Buhari. This is someone, the school has confirmed that he actually attended the school. They issued the certificate. They said no, the principal must have forged it. WAEC, also issued the original certificate, and they are still doubting. And this is someone that has even had higher educational qualifications than WAEC, and the argument is still on. So, but for me, I think that our politics can, we can do without, this type of, controversies. We can, but maybe in everything there is always a positive to extract from it, and the positive to extract from this, for me, is to say that, our constitution, may need some.
Going back to Jumoke's earlier question, of a strong touching allegation. If someone has actually aspired and held a position of vice president for 8 years, and he has actually served in one of the biggest institutions, that's the Nigerian Customs, of over 20, 30 years, why would such a person's citizenship now become an issue? Because he's aspiring.
What does he say about government?
What does he say?
Well, you see, for me, I will continue to say it, that what it says of our system is that, well, it then means that it is either, the system itself is not, because if all along, if all along is held office, whatever even qualifies a person, to serve as vice president, for me, should qualify him to serve as
a president.
As a president.
Because in any case, God forbid, when he was serving, if the president had actually died in active service, he would have assumed he would have moved up.
So if what APC is saying is actually, if it has any legal leg to stand, if it will have a legal leg to stand, you understand, it then means that we have a very defective system. You understand? We have a very defective system that allows, anything, that is, we can call it a kind of anything goes kind of system. If the court should decide, we don't know yet, but if the court should decide, it then means that
in favor,
it should decide that article,
it's not in Nigeria.
It's not, no, it's in Nigeria now.
Okay, it's in Nigeria, but cannot aspire to the position of
now after he had served as
vice
VP, because if anything untoward that happens to the president, to the serving president, then it will automatically have become the president. It then means that the person that will have served as our president then will not,
will not have been qualified.
Will not have been qualified. So his tenure will have been a nullity. Is that what we're saying?
Again, along that line, of politicians having pensions. I'm not instituted, neither am I holding brief. But the same Atiku Abubakar was also a presidential aspirant in 2014 in the All Progressives Congress.
Yeah.
So would APC have actually disqualified him if he had won the primary?
And that is why, that's why I sometimes for our politicians, apple becomes sour when it can't be reached. You get what I'm saying? Apple suddenly becomes sour when it can't be reached. And so even when you know the truth, you understand, even when our politicians know the truth, they just want to, like I've said, I will continue to happen that for me it's looking like one of the maybe inanities of our politics, that anybody can come up, like you have said, this same article was a presidential candidate,
aspirant,
aspirant, if he had won then, and if he had become their candidate, Would they? And let me tell you, even if you are now saying that it was an aspirant, he was a candidate of ACN, and ACN, ACN was one of the, major parties of APC. And so what are we saying?
No, he wasn't a presidential candidate.
He was a presidential candidate of...
Nuhu Ribadu.
No.
It was actually Nuhu Ribadu that was the candidate of...
Okay, was he not a presidential candidate of Accord? He was under, Action Congress. Under...
No, it was Nuhu Ribadu.
No, in 2003. In 2003, who was presidential candidate of Action Congress? Action Congress.
No, as of 2003. 2000, ACN had not been born.
2007, sorry. 2007.
ACN had not been born then.
ACN, no, 2000, let's get it right. Nuhu Ribadu was
The
candidate
of ACN.
When,
that was 2011.
When Obasanjo was, okay, 2011. Okay, but 2007, who was the presidential candidate of Action Congress?
I can't.
It was Atiku. It was that same Atiku.
Okay.
It was Atiku.
Okay.
It was this same Atiku that was the presidential candidate of Action Congress.
ACN is not the same as APC.
But it was one of the. It was one of the.
We've had more people now.
Parties.
We've had more people, so they are not the same.
So I think for me, I just want to say that our politics, should be more of substance.
But can
Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
So that we can return. We'll take a break now. We'll return for more discussion. Don't go away.
Sorry, let me quickly collect the...
Marhaban Ramadan, Habibi Ramadan. The days are here.
Alhamdulillah, the month of mercy, blessing, forgiveness and abundant favor has arrived. So believers, be joyous for this opportunity. As part of our tradition, MITV Star FM 101.5 has packaged series of soul-inspiring programs for your spiritual upliftment during the holy month, such as Pre-Dawn Ramadan, Tafsir between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., Ramadan Talk, Call to Prayer, Quiz Competition, and a lot more. We are calling on Islamic organizations, Muslim societies, corporate bodies, and well-meaning individuals to patronize us during this blessed month. For more information, visit our marketing department at Radio Vision Plaza, Alausa, Ikeja, or call 0803-300-4531, 0803-300-2692, or 0802-928-0721. Ramadan Kareem.
Marhaban Ramadan, Habibi Ramadan. The days are here.
Right, welcome back, Mr. Ademola Adegoke, still here with us in the studio. Now, I still want to take us back a little on this allegation. What does it actually say about the Adamawa indigenes? Is it not a kind of rubbishing the people?
You know, I said it before now, that if this allegation has any substance, it then means that, you know, the whole of that part of the country, because talking about fairness now, how fair will the system have been to those people? They've been, I said it before now, that these are people that have been Nigerians. Even if you want to argue that they were not Nigerians as at the date of independence, which the Constitution states as, you know, the date, you know, for, you know, people who were born before 1960 and all that. If you that's, you know, if you want to look at the provision of the Constitution. So, but then these are people that have been part of this country for the past almost 60 years now. And if you are not telling them that they cannot aspire to the highest office in the land, I don't know how fair the system will have been to them. And that is why I've said that it's one of the positive takeaways of this whole argument is that our Constitution, it's been said for 10 times that our Constitution needs to be revisited and rejigged. You understand?
Along that line too, without necessarily holding brief for All Progressive Congress, if there is a lacuna in the Constitution, and in political circles, whatever it is you can exploit to actually achieve your goal, you can certainly not overlook it. Can you then blame APC for exploiting this lacuna in the Constitution?
Well, maybe, you see, legally speaking, you will not blame them. But for me, when I look at the legal side of issues, I also look at the moral side of it. Just like you have said, politics is like warfare, and they say all is fair in warfare. But even in warfare, there are also rules of engagement. You understand? That is, you know, to ensure that you do not overstep bounds, even in warfare. There are kind of ammunitions that you cannot use. You understand? Even in warfare. So I want to believe that yes, there is a lacuna in the Constitution, and the APC wants to exploit that, you know, to their advantage. But the morality of it, yes, it may be okay, legally speaking. Whether it is so, you know, okay, morally speaking, is another question.
All right, now, have you heard that there's a counter allegation too, that Buhari is actually from Niger Republic? You know, that's the fresh one. Let me read it. Information has been revealed that President Buhari hailed from Niger Republic, a town named Daura, which is currently in Katsina State. It says the current Daura was part of the city in Niger Republic conquered by Bayajida, who trekked across Sahara into Niger Republic. So that's another historical story again.
But you know, before the advent of the Europeans, let me also say this. You understand that most of the boundaries that you have, you know, between African countries today are merely artificial. They are merely artificial. They are not. It's not as if it's God created. You understand? Let me go a bit historical, and let me go to my own part of the country. For example, if you go to Kwara State today, I mean, there is a local government called Ekiti local government. The people you find there, you know, are all Ekitis. They speak the same dialect of Ekiti.
But they are from Kwara.
They are Kwara. You understand? They speak the same dialect of Ekiti as the people from Otum. You understand? If you have, you know, some geographical knowledge of Ekiti. These were the same people before the whites came. And they came and said, okay, this part belongs to the north, this part belongs to the western part of Nigeria. And so the Europeans put these boundaries, and then we take them as gospel truth. For me, well, maybe I don't know the validity or otherwise of this claim, but it just goes to tell us that before the advent of the white man, we were all just same people moving freely. And so for me, this argument of who is a Nigerian or who is not a Nigerian, I don't think it's something that we can accept now. Yes, maybe after independence, after like the constitutions as well stated. Well, if anybody, now we know who a Beninua is, now we know who a Nigerian citizen is, now we know who a Chadian but you want to go back to those years, it may be a wild goose chase for me. It may be a wild goose chase.
In all of this, of course, INEC has actually been watching. But do you not think INEC has a role to play in resolution of all this? Or what could he have done better as at the time of filing the nomination? I mean, getting people's nominations.
They don't have anything to do with that, like background checks.
Background checks. INEC, in fairness to INEC, INEC will have taken some things for granted, not knowing that issues like this can crop up. In fairness to them, because don't forget that even in that
you want to exonerate INEC?
No, wait. Don't forget that even in that same INEC, there will be people from this part of from so
oh yes, that's true.
So do you want the man from Adamawa to now say that no, this man is not a Nigerian? So that means that he is not even qualified to serve in INEC. You understand? So INEC, you can excuse whatever maybe mistake, if you call it that INEC might have made in this instance. But I think the whole thing is up to the court to decide.
Okay.
The court will decide, and it is good. It is very, very good, because we need, once and for all, this needs to be laid to rest.
Again, would you say this will further strengthen or deepen our democracy? It will.
If at the end of the day, whatever the court comes up with, it will deepen our democracy. There are things that we all take for granted, but when the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, rules and says this is the way it is, then we are better educated, we are better informed. You understand? But I want to believe that the Supreme Court is capable.
All right, so the Cameroonian government also came up to say that this allegation is embarrassing, and that they have refuted the claim that Atiku is actually from their country. Will this help
in the resolution?
In the resolution of this case?
You see, it cannot. I don't think the argument. For me, if Cameroon is saying that Atiku is not from their country, even APC is not saying that Atiku migrated. It's sounding like maybe Atiku migrated from, what they are saying is that as at the time
of the plebiscites,
as at the time of independence, you understand, as at 1st October 1960, that part of Nigeria, was not, or the Adamawa, community, so to speak, was not officially part of Nigeria. Now that is the argument of APC. So I don't think this the Cameroonian government argument holds any water here, because what they are saying, the constitution is so clear. Section 25 of the Nigerian Constitution, has well spelled out, who qualifies to be a Nigerian. There are different categories: people that are qualified by marriage, people that are qualified by birth. What they are saying is naturalization. You understand? What they are saying is that the Constitution says that for someone to aspire to the office of the President of Nigeria, that person has to be a Nigerian by birth, and that Atiku, as at the time, as at first, must be a Nigerian, must have his grandparents and parents, being Nigerians by birth. but that as at 1960, Atiku's parents and grandparents were not Nigerians by birth. That is the argument. They are not, the APC, I want to, if you go and ask them, they are not saying that, no, Atiku is not a Nigerian now. They are not saying that.
All right, so as long as this argument is ongoing, what it means that is the PDP petition at the election petition tribunal is laid to rest till this is sorted out.
No, I don't think so, because there are other grants. You see, Atiku, they have responded to Atiku's petitions that Atiku is not a Nigerian, he's just one of the grants, of APC for asking the court to dismiss his petition for lacking in merit. There are, I think they have 5 other grants why they are asking the court to dismiss the Atiku's petition and PDP's petition for lacking in merit. I don't think so. The court will still look at those other, what they have done is that if this grant fails, this one will work. If this one, so I think that is what they have just done. The court will look at it, holistically, all the arguments, all the 5 grants of their response to Atiku's petition.
So how long do you suspect that this ding dong would actually, how long would it go?
Well, that is left to the court. We cannot decide, it's the Supreme Court, I think it starts first at the appeal court level. It's the court. Well, it will first be decided at the appeal court. Then, if definitely, I know that either whichever way it goes, there will be appeal, and it will go to Supreme Court. But I think the courts have brought some speed into their determination of cases, especially election petitions. They have brought some speed into their determination of election petitions, and I want to believe that maybe within the next 3 months or so, we may have this whole argument laid to rest.
You allow me to quickly take this before we allow. There's this press release from the spokesperson of the governor-elect Ogun State. That's Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun. It says Dapo Abiodun announces Economic Transition Committee. The Ogun State governor-elect Prince Dapo Abiodun has announced the Economic Transition Committee that will further articulate his campaign manifesto, ensure robust engagement with stakeholders, and develop a roadmap to guide its implementation. The release was actually made available by Honorable Remi Azan, the spokesperson. The chairman of the Economic Transition team is former deputy governor of CBN, that's Mr. Tunde Lemon, and other members are Mr. Dapo Okubadejo, who is the secretary, His Excellency Senator Gbenga Kaka, Her Excellency Alhaja Salmot Badru, Mr. Foluso Phillips, Professor Kanyi Ajayi, SAN, Mr. Kunle Lebute, and so on and so forth. We have 23, and they're saying that to ensure an effective and efficient discharge of his assignment, the Economic Transition Committee will be assisted by work groups, each of which will focus on its assigned thematic areas such as education, youth and sports, health, social services, government processes, agriculture, and others. So that's the release, and we just want to wish the Economic Transition Committee the very best. It's a real job because it will lay the foundation for the effective governance of the incoming administration.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ademola Adegoke, for being a part of our program today. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Have a good day.
Yeah, my name is Banji Busari. Until the next episode, that's on Wednesday, I want to charge you to go and find out, dig into your background to actually know your status. I mean, as far as citizenship is concerned, are you a true Nigerian? So that before you aspire to the post of president, you know whether you'll be disqualified somewhere along the line or not. I am a Nigerian. There's no doubt about it. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.